My name is Niki Ricci, and I'm the Healthy Teaching Kitchen Dietitian here at the Ann Arbor VA in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Today I'm going to make some recipes to celebrate our National Nutrition Month, and this year's theme is Celebrating a World of Flavors. Today I'm going to be making two recipes that can be found on our website at www.nutrition.va.gov. With the theme of National Nutrition Month, Celebrate a World of Flavors, today I'm going to be making arepas and pico de gallo. So I'm going to start making the pico de gallo, and this recipe has a couple different ingredients in it. It's got tomatoes, it's got jalapenos, cilantro, onions, and lime juice. It has a little bit of salt as well. What I'm going to say about the peppers is that you can use them if you like spicy. If you don't like spicy, you can omit them from the recipe. So basically, what we'll do, it's very easy, just chopping mostly. So we're going to take our tomato and we're going to chop them into small bite-sized pieces. I like to cut them very small so that they fit on a chip or right on top and you don't have to mess with chewing them too much. This is a really easy recipe to make if you have the ingredients on hand. And you can vary it by putting different things in it as well. Next, I'm going to take some onion and cut that into small pieces. Usually about a half an onion will do. This is a really nice way to have healthy, fresh ingredients included in your meals. You can cut those in as big or as small as you want. I like to cut them pretty small. And I'm going to put those in the bowl. So for the jalapeno, you can include the seeds in the jalapeno or you don't have to. If you include the seeds in it, it'll be really spicy. So what I like to do is kind of take your knife or a spoon and kind of scoop out those seeds from the middle. Actually, I would use the seeds in mine because I love spicy. And we'll dice those up. So we've got tomatoes, we have onions, we have jalapenos. Put that in there. The next thing it calls for is cilantro. This is already washed and dried. It calls for about a 1/4 cup chopped. You can also chop this as fine or big of pieces as you want. Sometimes people don't like the taste of cilantro. You don't have to put it in. It also calls for 2 tablespoons of lime juice, which is about half of a lime. And I've already juiced the lime. I'm just going to add that. And then it also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to add that. And toss the ingredients together. And there you have pico de gallo, which can be served on top of the recipe that we're making with the arepas, or you can just serve it as a dip with pita chips or crackers or chips. Next, we're going to make arepas, which are cornmeal flat cakes. Arepas are originated from the northern part of South America. If you've never heard of arepas before, in the future, take a look around, and sometimes they have them on the menus at restaurants. You can do a Google search and find many different ways to make arepas. I have a recipe that I've been making for my family for many years, and I really enjoy it. I think it's very easy, and these are very healthy to make. So the arepa recipe calls for arepa flour, which is cornmeal masa. And this is just one of the brands that you can find at the store. Pretty commonly, you can find other brands, other types. If you can't find arepa flour or masa, you can use cornmeal. However, the texture of the cornmeal will be much different. So arepa flour is much like flour. It's just a little bit finer, so it's a lot finer than cornmeal. So we'll use 2 cups of arepa flour. We'll use a teaspoon of salt, which I'll add to the arepa flour and mix it. So that's really all you have to do for that part. The other ingredients we need are a chopped onion, medium onion would be good, a clove of chopped garlic, which I've already done today, a cup of corn, 2 cups of water, and about 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro, which I have not chopped yet. So in making the arepas, we've already mixed in the salt and the arepa flour together, and we'll just let that sit on the side. And then we'll focus over here on the stove. So we usually use a little bit of olive oil to cook the onions and garlic in per the recipe. And we'll let that kind of saute. And then we'll add the onions and the garlic. And we'll saute that for about 3 minutes. Turn that down a little bit. I like to get the onions and the garlic a little bit caramelized and softened in the recipe. So you'll cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you'll add the cup of corn and saute that for another 2 to 3 minutes. So after about 3 minutes of cooking, you'll add the 1 cup of corn into the skillet. You can use fresh corn, you can use frozen corn. Sometimes in the summer, if you have corn on the cob that's left over, you can use that as well. It doesn't really matter. And then you'll just saute this for another 3 minutes. And while I'm sauteing this, I'm going to chop the cilantro for the recipe. We'll use about 1/4 cup of cilantro in the recipe. And I like it to be pretty finely chopped. Once the corn, the onions, and the garlic are sauteed very well and cooked so that it's softer, you will take 2 cups of water, and it's going to be warm water. So not hot water, not cold water, just warm water. And you're going to pour it in the pan. Kind of gets everything off the bottom and deglazes the pan. And then we're going to also add the cilantro that's chopped into the pan. And then just stir it a little bit. Get everything off the bottom of the pan with the water. And then we're going to add the onion, garlic, corn, cilantro, water mixture to the arepa flour and salt. And then we're going to stir it. So the consistency that you're looking for with the arepa flour is the consistency of mashed potatoes when it's all mixed together. So like soft mashed potatoes. You don't want it really thick, and you don't also want it really runny, because we're going to form these into cakes and lightly fry them on the pan. So that's what the flour should look like. The next thing we're going to do to make these, the recipe says that this makes about 8 cakes, so you'll keep that in mind when you make them. You're going to use a little bit of olive oil, you can use vegetable oil, you can use avocado oil on the pan, just to keep it from sticking. You don't need a lot of oil. You can also use cooking spray if you'd like. And we'll heat that oil a little bit on the pan. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take approximately a half a cup of the arepa flour, make a small ball in your hands, and then form it into a little cake. So I like them to be about a 1/2 inch thick because I think they're a little bit more tender that way. And what you'll do as you make these is you'll just put them in the pan to saute. I'm going to make 3 in that pan. If you have a bigger pan, you can make more, but you might have to make multiple batches all at once. And we're going to let those cook probably about a minute or 2 on each side, just so it gets a little brown. I like to push it down a little bit so they get cooked there. So you don't want to burn them and you don't want them to stick to the pan, but you want them to be slightly firm. There's nothing in the ingredients of the arepas that it's going to cause foodborne illness where you have to cook the items to a certain temperature, so keep that in mind. It's basically preference. So once they're slightly browned on each side, you'll take it off the plate. You could melt cheese on this if you'd like, if you want a little extra flavor. Put it on the plate. You'll add some pico de gallo that we made earlier. I like to put it on top. I like to add a little black beans for extra protein, and I usually put those on top. And if you really want to add a little more, you can slice some avocado and serve it with that. And that is arepas with pico de gallo. But it's that simple and it's that easy. It's very flavorful. I hope you enjoyed our recipes today. I hope you make them. Please visit our website, and thank you for joining me today.